Hey everybody, it's another day where I'm getting in a little later than I had hoped, so I'm not really going to have time to get much done here in the fish room this evening, but I do want to get a feeding video done. I don't think I've done a feeding video of this tank since I've got it set up. I did do one where it was just bare gravel on the bottom and there was no fish. It was just the crayfish in the tank at the time. So today we're going to do a proper feeding video with the fish, the crayfish, the sticks, leaves, and the whole 9 yards. So we're going to start by putting in some of the flake food. I'll try to sprinkle it not only across the surface, but I'll try to get it on to where the water is really flowing in at the top, and that forces some of it down into the water column immediately, which gets the fish all swimming around. And the flavor of it in the water, I think, also gets the crayfish a lot more active, and you'll see some of them coming up out of the woodwork. There's actually one that's been hanging onto that branch right there, almost dead center, since the video began. He's on the move now, but I haven't seen any of the other crayfish. And to my knowledge, all 5 of them are still in there. I don't believe I've actually lost any of the crayfish so far. So let me go around the room and give all the other fish their flake food, and then we'll come back and we'll put something more specifically for the crayfish in the tank that goes right to the bottom. Some shrimp pellets or some broken algae wafers. I don't know if you can hear that splashing in the background or not, but that's actually the fish in my New World tank going nuts. When the food goes in there, they actually splash water right out of the top of the tank. Finally starting to get it as part of my habit to put some flake food in my brackish tank. For so long it was just butterbean in that tank. I only had to put the snails or the shrimp pellets or freeze-dried krill in there for him or something. But now that I got those little guppies swimming around in there, I got to make sure there's food for them as well. Still don't see any crayfish except for that little one who's all the way at the far left-hand side of the tank now. So let's try throwing some broken up algae wafers in there and see if that doesn't get anybody to come out. The crayfish do love some algae wafers. Now of course I'm going to go around the room and make my rounds for all the other tanks. More often than not, I will use the algae wafers as my sinking food to make sure all the fish on the bottom of the tank get something to eat. But I mix it up from time to time with sinking shrimp pellets. And I've been asked before if shrimp pellets are for shrimp or if they are made of shrimp. And I have always assumed that they are made of shrimp, not that they are for shrimp. So typically when you see shrimp pellets, that is actually shrimp. It's made of shrimp. It's not made for shrimp. I can see one of the big crayfish in the back of the tank crawling around, and here comes one of the medium-sized ones. It looks like he's being chased by the big one. Boy, it really does look like that big one is chasing that medium-sized one. But they both came scrabbling up there to get some food. Let me pull this leaf out of the way and see. Well, it's probably going to scare the crayfish, so let's see what happens. I think he'll come back in a minute. Alright, that is everybody fed. And it does not look like the large crayfish has come back out. If I can get a better look at him, I'll pull the camera off of the tripod and we'll see if we can't see him. No, we can pull the camera off the tripod. Have a look at this little guy here. I can see that one branch moving around, and usually when you've got a branch moving around, it's because there's a crayfish in there on the other end of it moving it. And I can see some little stuff moving around under here, but I think that is from the crayfish that just crawled on under there. There he is. And I can see another medium one in the back underneath the power head, but I don't know how well he would actually even make it out on video. It's so dark back there. Yeah, I don't even see him. I can barely see him with my own eyes, let alone with the camera. You can see how much the fish get down in there and find those algae wafers that I put in there too. So, as I've said before, those algae wafers are popular. So, alright everybody, as I said, it's getting kind of late. I didn't even get in here in the fish room until much later than I normally do this evening. So, I've got to get on with my evening and go get myself some dinner. I'll leave you with one last look at the crayfish in the corner. And I'm going to say thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you real soon on the next one. Thanks again.